All right, it's official, gang. Jazz Chisholm is headed to the 10-day IL. It is going to be retroactive to April 30th, and it's classified as a right oblique strain. So the Yankees have made a roster move. They've recalled Yorbit Vivas again from AAA Scranton. Now, I've been saying this the last couple of days. I mean, okay, but I personally think it would have been a better idea to call up an arm, right? Because you already have Pedro Pablo Reyes here. You have Oswald Peraza and Oswaldo Cabrera. Now you're bringing up another infielder. So guys are going to sit. I understand the logic, but don't call him up if you're not going to play him, please. By the way, shout out to everybody in here, by the way. We got a whole bunch of people in here. I got 60-some people in here. Wow. Okay. But I wanted to get this news out to you. This news came out about 10 minutes ago. And I wanted to make sure I got the corresponding move before putting out the complete news. But that's it right now. Jazz Chisholm is heading to the 10-day IL. And again, right oblique strain. It's retroactive to April 30th. So, and Yorbit Vivas is coming up in his stead to replace him. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Omar, Jace, T-Cats, because what's good? You're welcome, Omar. My pleasure, man. I want to get this news out to you folks, right? Important. Yeah, Stanton is on a 60-day IL. Yesterday, they placed him on there to get him off the 40 roster because anytime you claim somebody off of waivers, procedurally, you have to put them on the 40. And Stanton still, it doesn't change Stanton's return date right now. He's still projected to be back here early to mid-June, probably mid-June. But so they added an outfielder yesterday, and they just replaced Jazz Chisholm with Yorbit Vivas. This is for before tonight's game against the Tampa Bay Rays. So hello, Susan. Hello, Jennifer. How are you? So we'll see when he'll be back. I really don't know. I really don't know. But I'm not expecting him to be back, which is why I hope they continue to play Ben Rice, right, and let him continue to perform. And if he stays hot, you make it as hard as possible. And if Stanton does come back, maybe you can maneuver where you can DH Rice for 3 days and maybe play him at first base for a day, and then play him a catcher for a day and then give him a day off every week or something like that. Because he is a rookie. So you want to kind of ease him in too. We don't need to throw him to the wolves immediately. So, but I agree 100% with you, Yankees fan and Jennifer. If you're going to call up Vivas, you have to play him. But it does stink because either Peraza is going to sit or Oswaldo or Pablo Reyes is going to sit. And I personally thought it would have been a better idea to call up another arm because I do not want to wear out the bullpen, particularly since some of the starters are not giving us enough length. And it's forcing the relievers to go longer than they usually go. So, but we'll see, Eric. Well, I mean, that could happen. You also have another outfielder, Ismael Munguia, who was good in the spring too. But would I be surprised if they DFA'd Rays? No, I would not. I would not at all. And there's going to be some roster moves going to be. I mean, when Hill comes back, a roster move is going to be made. When Loizaga comes back, a roster move is going to be made, right? You got Clayton Beater. You got a couple of Jake Cousins. Every one of those guys is going to require a roster move to be made. Now, I don't know what roster moves, but like Reyes is probably going to be expendable. Oswald Peraza is probably going to be expendable, right? If DJ comes back, somebody's going to become expendable. So, good morning to all of you, by the way. Shout out to everybody in here. And make sure you hit that like button if you don't mind. It's always greatly appreciated. But yeah, Dylan Cruz, I think, Brian De La Cruz is a better righty bat than Reyes. But I got to give Reyes a credit. Like when he was playing regularly, he was hitting. He's kind of up here playing essentially garbage time with the Yankees. So it doesn't really give him an opportunity to produce offensively. But recently he's been kind of hitting the ball with a little bit more play. So that's good. So the De La Cruz pickup, yeah, that's a solid depth piece move. Caskets, yeah, solid depth piece move. And I honestly, too, I agree, Susan. I don't expect much from DJ either. I really don't. I don't expect too much. So, but it is under the radar, high risk, high reward. He's got some pop in his bat. So, De La Cruz doesn't have much of a sample size this year, but he's hit over a dozen home runs several times. So, and again, he's a depth piece. But again, I think they'll call him up before Everson Pereira? Probably not. Everson Pereira's hitting the ball extremely well right now. But again, how do you call him up? Like, do you not play Trent Grisham? Do you not play Bellinger? Do you not play Dominguez? Like, so it's a tough situation right now. So leave for reals. What's good? What is good? But yeah, so it's depth pieces are good. It's always good to have extra depth in AAA, right? So and maybe Brian De La Cruz will do that right now. But in the end, he's on the 40. So this could be a procedural move too. That way, when either Stanton comes back or someone else comes back, you can DFA De La Cruz if he's not going to play or something like that. And if he accepts his assignment, then he can go back to the minors and he'll be off the 40. Or he can choose to be an outright free agent, in which case he'd be no longer with the franchise. So, well, that's the thing too. I don't find any reason to block Spencer Jones. Anything that's going to block Spencer Jones' ability to move up to AAA at some point, I'm not in favor of. Yeah, and Jones is right now. He looks like he's going to earn a AAA promotion pretty soon. But yeah, smack the like button, everybody, if you don't mind. So yeah, I thank you for it. So MLB teams' active roster is limited to maximum 13 pitchers. They can't hit a pitcher unless they demote a pitcher. Let's see. Pitchers. That's a good thing to know. They're generally limited to carrying 13 pitchers, but there are exceptions. The limit can increase to 14 from September 1st to the end of the regular season when rosters expand. The 13 pitchers must be designated either as starters or relievers. So there are time frames to it, but thank you for that, Yankees fan. There are a few exceptions, obviously. So, and I'm glad that they are clear. They defined the exceptions, which is good. But I still think an arm would have been better. I would have moved somebody to get an arm up here, because again, you're gonna have a bunch of infielders that are gonna sit now because you added another infielder. You could have played Peraza, right? You could have played Oswaldo at second and third. So, yeah. And if DJ plays, yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Beagle Dad's in the building. What's good? Shout out to Beagle, baby. So Jazz Chisholm's on the IL, if you haven't heard. And the Yankees called up Yorbit Vivas in his place. TJF is right, man. TJF is right. Yes, indeed. Yep, Beagle. So 10-day IL. It's retroactive to the 30th of this month. And since we're at May 2nd, so he'll be probably eligible to come off May 8th, probably 6 more days, 7 days, something like that. So, well, that's the thing too. What's the point of calling up the guy if he's not gonna play? I don't see the point. And this is, this to me, I think this should be an exception to this 13 pitcher rule. Like if you have a bunch of infielders already that aren't playing or aren't playing regularly, why do we need to add another one? So this is where I would encourage them to have maneuverability and flexibility in the roster. They shouldn't be limited to 13 pitchers. But apparently they are. Well, yeah, exactly. And again, and like if you're not gonna play Vivas, then you have wasted 2 of his options. 2. Right? That doesn't help him. It doesn't help his trade value if the goal is to move him. So what are you doing here? Got to play the guy if you're gonna have him up here. Right? So we'll see what they do. We'll see if he's on the roster tonight. In the lineup tonight, I should say. And the Yankees play the Rays. So, and tonight's game is at home, obviously. They're in the Bronx. 7:05 p.m. So, and it's going to be Ryan Pepiot versus Max Fried. That's the pitching matchup tonight. Pepiot versus Fried. So, and the Yankees, what did they beat? They took 3 out of 4 from the Braves last Steinbrenner Field, right? So, well, how do you do that, Milton? Like, you have so many guys. That's the thing. Like, if you kind of if you're rotating a lot of them, then nobody's getting regular playing time. Like, it's hard to do. And this is where I think there should be a little maneuverability, a little bit of flexibility to add a pitcher, so that this type of stuff doesn't happen, Milton. You know what I mean? So this is where, like, I would be talking about maneuverability in the next CBA. Little things like this, because it is tough getting everybody at bats when you have multiple guys sitting, and like, who are you going to sit on a regular basis? So, but I've said this for years now. And from being a former ball player too, getting regular rest to your players, even if it's once every other week, sitting them just for rest to take care of their health is a good idea, and give dudes a chance. Give dudes a chance. It's more chances than they would normally get. So we don't know. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Is Boone making his decision, or is he being told? We have no idea. That's the other part of this. So, and they're not going to tell us. They're not going to openly say this stuff either, because you have all these people who will figure out ways to trash them on X and YouTube. That's all. They have nothing better to do with their time than trash them on the YouTube channels and trash them on X. Like, nothing. They bring absolutely zero value. But it's this type of stuff, right? And the Yankees generally zip lips about most of everything they do. You generally don't find out about a move until after it's made. So, which I can't blame them. Can't blame them. And that's kind of across the board standard in baseball too. So, but I hope so, Gerard. I hope Beavis gets a shot. Look, he's a lefty bat, so he's similar to Jazz. He's got speed. He's got contact skills, which is what we were hoping from Jazz anyway. So, and maybe they will have to make a decision on Peraza. I do think Peraza will get moved. The Yankees had a pitcher at some point. I think Peraza gets moved. I think Reyes winds up being moved at some point as well. So DJ, I don't know. But like I said this yesterday, like, whether it's DJ or Stanton, I like both of them. But if they're not performing in rehab up in every level of the minors, then why are you going to bring them up to the majors and sit somebody who is performing up here? Is it just because they're a veteran on a big contract? That's not enough. Why? And here's my reasoning behind it. You're paying their salary anyway, no matter what, right? So if they're up here and not producing, you're paying for no production. Okay, if they're not playing and the young kid is playing and they're producing, you're paying for better production. So one way or another, you pay his contract. So get the better production no matter what you do. So that's just my logic behind it. But I mean, they probably might think I'm crazy for it, but it just makes sense. I mean, I'm speaking as an economics major, so you can try to get the best out of your investment, your return on investment as best you can, right? So, and DJ, you might be right. DJ might get hurt. No, I hope so, Duran. I hope he starts. I hope he gets an opportunity to play. Now that we know Jazz is on the IL, so, and it's retroactive to the 30th of April. So we'll see. Yeah, didn't Freddie Freeman get hurt like in a shower or something recently? Something like that. These freak injuries, crazy freak injuries in baseball. You know, but and like DJ just got a cortisone shot in the hip on, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. He wasn't supposed to get back into baseball activity until today or tomorrow anyway. So now Aaron Boone's saying it's preemptive or preventative stuff. Maybe it is. I don't know. So it is what it is. Poor bastard. Yeah, exactly. And Susan. Yeah. Well, that's part of it, Yankees fan. Yeah. I don't mind the 3 batter minimum, which is another reason to add another pitcher instead of limiting the amount of pitchers. If the pitchers have to face more batters, then it makes more sense to add another arm than a bat. That's simplified the argument too. Hmm. Yes, they were, Duran. Yes, they were. Yeah, Everson Pereira is crushing the ball. Have you seen the home runs he's hitting lately? Did he hit two yesterday? He hit a moonshot yesterday over center field. And so is Spencer Jones. He's leading the league in home runs. He's on pace for like 40 home runs, Spencer Jones. So and again, like I just hope that the claiming Brian De La Cruz off waivers doesn't block Spencer Jones's ability to move up to AAA at some point, right? But yeah, with Trent Grisham too. And this is the other thing too. When they have Jason Dominguez, like at some point, do they do something with Dominguez? Right? More fans just going to riot at any suggestion that they do something. People are calling for Volpe to be sent down, right? If Dominguez isn't hitting, what are you going to do? You're just going to keep playing him? It's the same argument. You got to play fair here. You want to call down Volpe? We're not going to call down Dominguez. Send down, I mean, no. They might trade De La Cruz. And I agree with you too, John. I mean, Pereira he's definitely building trade value. So I think Pereira and Peraza are going to be good trade candidates. Because I do think the Yankees are going to add a pitcher at some point, right? So, who I don't know, but they're going to have to use some of these bats to get them. Right? Hey, Jonathan, what's happening, my man? Jazz Chisholm's on the IL, 10-day. Yorby Vivas is coming up. So it's retroactive to April 30th, which is 2 days ago. So, well, that's the thing too, Susan. Yeah, I think Dominguez will be better off just hitting lefty instead of switching. And just kind of adopt to one side and just kind of evolve on that and just continue to develop. I agree. If he's not hitting from the right-handed side, doesn't make any sense to keep throwing him out there. He hits lefties better as a lefty. Hits righties better as a lefty. So, what's the point? Mm-hmm. Well, it depends on who the starter is. They're on. Like, I mean, this talks about Freddie Peralta from the Brewers. This talks about Sandy Alcantara from the Marlins, and it really depends on, really depends on not only the price but the value, and and I hate to break it to you, but like this beat writer suggested Lombard and Spencer Jones for Alcantara. This guy's got his ERA is like 8. There's no way in the world I would give up both of them, or even one of them for Sandy Alcantara. No, like some of these beat writers are crazy. Hmm. Yeah, well, that's the thing too. I mean, yeah, he might be pressing a little bit from the righty side. He doesn't need to, right? So Vivas, yeah, and Vivas is a lefty bat, and he's got some speed. So utilize that. Utilize that. What's crazy too is there's so much frustration about the Yankees. This and their and but let's put this in perspective. As I pulled up the rankings. Where are they? Here we go. This is as of this morning, 2025 MLB offensive rankings, team hitting and batting stats. Batting average, number 1, Yankees, 267. Cubs are second. Runs scored, Yankees second behind the Cubs. Home runs, 53, Yankees, number 1. On base percentage, Yankees, number 1, 351. Cubs are second, 342. Notice a trend here, Yankees and Cubs. Slugging percentage, number 1, Yankees, 478, excuse me. Dodgers are second, 462. Stolen bases where the Yankees are deficient. They are ranked 19th. So with their slugging percentage and their batting average so high, and on-base percentage so high, what does that mean? They're not only hitting the ball well, but they're also drawing a lot of walks. Now, the walks do not affect the batting average, but they affect the on-base percentage. So Yeah, they are smoking some serious stuff, Susan. Somebody suggested Jones and Lombard for Alcantara. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. But this is as of this morning, MLB rankings. So I mean, some people are calling for James Rosen to be fired. Yankees are number one and number two at almost every category. Why in the world would you fire James Rosen? And the stolen bases are low. What does that mean? Situational hitting is not there yet. So we've been working on the stolen bases, we're working on the situational hitting. But in terms of offensive output, they're at the top of almost every list, the Yankees. And they're in first place without Stanton, their biggest home run guy in the playoffs, the second biggest home run guy in the season, right? So they're doing it without him, without Soto, which is it's it just goes to show you that they actually did make the lineup better this offseason, right? You know, and they do have guys, yeah, Caskets, exactly. They have guys who can steal bases. Volpe, Jazz, Peraza, Dominguez. There's a lot of guys who can steal bases. I agree 100%, man. I wish they would steal more too. The situational stuff, hitting. I mean, I know they're not fans of bunting, but bunt the guy over. Even if you sacrifice the out, you move the guy to second, you move the guy to third, right? I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like, if the runner's a second, you want to bunt him to third, you try to bunt the ball towards the first base side. If he's at first, you want to bunt him second, you bunt the ball towards the third base side. You want to lengthen the throw of the infielder or the pitcher and get the guy closer to the bag, right? So to me, that's baseball 101. But that's just me. But like, I wish the Yankees would utilize it more. Yeah, well, exactly. I pay you to get it's for Moneyball. I remember Brad Pitt. I pay you to get on first, not to get thrown out at second. No bunting. It's Moneyball. Mm-hmm. Now, but I wouldn't use Moneyball as the recipe to win championships because they haven't won a single championship with Moneyball. But there are components of it that make sense. Get on base percentage, right? Walk. I've talked about this too. You walk. A walk is as good as a hit in so many situations. No. Well, look, Albert. Yeah, I mean, I think so many people who want to trade Jones and aren't even considering trading Dominguez, right? If you can get the right piece, Jones is a better outfielder than Dominguez by a mile, right? Jones is coming around with his bat and he's developmentally behind because he's a converted pitcher, but he's got more power than Dominguez. He's faster than Dominguez. He steals a lot of bases too, so it's crazy. Now, I'm not saying Dominguez is not going to be fine. I think he'll be okay. But if you're going to consider trading Jones, you have to consider trading Dominguez. Then you pay the two off. Which one's a better option, right? You got to do that. You got to narrow it down, right? Judge, Sanchez, and Severino for Trout. Where did you see that, Deron? I never heard that one. That would have been crazy, Deron. Yeah. We hope so, Jonathan. I said in the beginning, like, you cannot call up Vivas and not play him. You have to play him. Otherwise, you will have wasted two of his options, especially when you want to sit all these guys and waste this guy's option because somebody's going to sit, either Reyes or Peraza or Osvaldo. Somebody's going to sit, right? So a couple guys are going to sit. Clemenza, there he is. So Jazz is on the 10-day IL. It's retroactive to April 30th, so he'll be eligible to come off, I think, the 8th of the month. It's only 6 or 7 days. That's what it says now. That's what it says right now. So, and it's directly from the Yankees. Yeah. I never heard that one, though, and that would have been crazy. I would have. I'm happy we kept Judge, man. Jones is a elite center fielder who can also play left field, right? And if you need to, I mean, they talked about giving him a first base glove. I mean, I've said this too. If you want to get Dominguez and Jones in the lineup at the same time, you might want to start teaching Jones first base. Okay, so is Trout hurt again? Oh my God! Good Lord. Feel bad for the guy. He was off to a hot start, too. I think so, too. And he's slowly cutting down the strikeouts. But the fact is, like, I would tolerate the strikeouts if you guys hitting 35 to 40 home runs every year for 5, 6, 7 years. I'll take that any day of the week. Hmm? Trout, yeah, I would agree. The bruised knee, oh my God. This guy can't get a break, Mike Trout. Oh, good Lord. I feel bad for the guy because he's such a good player. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But that's where we're at, gang. I wanted to get this news out to you. I'm going to get back to work in a few minutes here. That Jazz Chisholm, IL, 10 days. Yorba Vivas is up. No, but it's a good conversation to have with the 13. I'm glad you brought it up, Yankees fans. Good conversation to have with the pitcher's minimum. Because to me, it spurs another conversation when it comes to stuff like this. And when you tie in the 3-batter minimum rule to the pitchers, it also adds another leg to the conversation. So that's a good conversation to have. No, thank you for bringing that up. Shout out to you, Yankees fan. Shout out to you. I appreciate you too, Jonathan. Jonathan gets shout out. Kudos to Jonathan. He's my Prime Minister Valuable Info. He's the guy that got me the additional information on Dela Cruz and Stanton tie-in yesterday. So that's all, Jonathan. Shout out to my man. But everybody hit that like button if you don't mind. I appreciate it. But Prime Judge versus Prime. Prime Judge has the power locked up. Prime Trout is his stats are balanced out of worldly, but like Judge is playing at a non-human level. It should be like illegal to be that to perform like this. I remember they used to say that about Mariano Rivera. It should be illegal to be this good. So can't blame him. Can't fault him for that. So, but it is an insane comparison, John. Yeah, but it's two of the faces of baseball right there. So, yeah. By the way, just speaking of faces of baseball, Judge has been named team captain of Team USA. For those that haven't heard, but somebody was expressing outrage. Why not Ohtani? Ohtani doesn't play for Team USA. He plays for Team Japan. So I had to put that out there because somebody was actually going crazy as to why Ohtani wasn't. I understand Ohtani's a face of baseball too, but he doesn't play for Team USA. So he is one of the best right-handed hitters. Yeah, I mean he's up like he has a better season than Miguel Cabrera, better season than Manny Ramirez, better season than any right-hander, Jimmy Fox, any right-hander I can think of. He's right up there. And then I think he'll go out as an all-time great. Maybe he gets up to 600 home runs. So I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised. But go have a great day, everybody. Peace and love to all of you. If any other news comes out, promise you, you'll get it here. See you next time.